We analyzed a boxing jab. This analysis will teach proper form of how to use a jab to knock out an opponent and defend yourself. Proper form increases success and overall sports longevity. The jab will be broken down into 4 phases involving 9 joints moving in the sagittal plane and frontal axis. The joints involved are the talocrural ankle joint, tibiofemoral joint with the assistance of the patellofemoral joint, acetabulo-femoral hip joint, pelvic rotator joint, scapulothoracic joint, shoulder GH joint, elbow joint, radial ulnar joint, hand and wrist joint. The bones and landmarks involved are tibia, fibula, talus, femur, patella, acetabulum of the pelvic girdle, lumbar spine, scapula, thoracic rib cage, glenoid fossa and humerus, trochlea, trochlear notch, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. Under tension, muscle fibers can either change length or remain the same. Isotonic contractions change length and have 2 subtypes, one being concentric and second being eccentric. Isometric contractions are ones where fibers remain the same when undergoing tension. Here are the contraction types explained. Concentric contractions shorten under tension and usually promote movement with agonist muscles. Eccentric contractions lengthen under tension and usually oppose the concentric movement through antagonist muscles. Again, isometric contractions produce no length change, thus resulting in no movement. Here is a list of all the muscles of the lower body that are involved in a boxing jab. Lower body being the lumbar region and down. They are all categorized by the movement they produce. These include plantar flexors, dorsiflexors, knee extenders, hip flexors, hip extenders, and lumbar rotator muscles. Now we have the list of all the muscles located in the upper body that will be involved in the boxing jab. They're all listed by their function and movement. These include scapula protractors, scapula elevators, horizontal adductors of the GH joint, GH flexors, elbow extensors, radial ulnar pronators, radial ulnar supinators, finger flexors, and thumb opposition muscles. When analyzing the difference in movement from one phase to the next, we start at the stance phase and see how the body got here from anatomical position. Then what muscles involved got the body from the stance phase to the preparatory phase. After that, what muscles were involved to allow the body to get from the preparatory phase to the movement phase. Then from the movement phase, what muscles produced the appropriate actions to finish off at the follow-through phase of the jab. Here's the boxing jab at normal speed, and here's the slow-mo of the jab viewed from 3 different angles. Here's a snapshot of the stance phase. Here's a snapshot of the preparatory phase. Here we have a snapshot of the movement phase. And here we have a snapshot of the follow-through phase.
Here we have the movement breakdown in the stance phase on the left side. The ankle and pelvis remain in the neutral position compared to anatomical position. The agonist muscle groups that are working concentrically include the knee flexors, hip flexors, scap protractors, GH flexors, elbow flexors, radial ulnar pronators, finger flexors, and muscles responsible for thumb opposition. The thumb finger flexors are important to keep the tight fist. The antagonist muscle groups working eccentrically are all the extensors, scap retractors, and radial ulnar supinators. When looking at left and right sides, we are not comparing the movements to each other. We are looking at the movements that had to be involved to get from the previous phase. Here we're going to analyze the right side of the stance, seen in the middle picture, where most of the same agonist and antagonist muscles are involved, except there's hip external rotation of the right leg. This involves agonist hip external rotators working concentrically and the hip internal rotators working eccentrically. Here's the breakdown of the left side for the preparatory phase. The muscles of the fingers and thumb remain in isometric contraction. The agonist muscles working concentrically are the plantar flexors, knee flexors, hip flexors, lumbar rotators, scap protractors and elevators, horizontal adductors and flexors of the GH, elbow flexors and pronators. The antagonist muscles working eccentrically include the extensors, dorsiflexors, scap retractors and depressors, and GH abductors and supinators. The only change on the right side, the knee flexors working concentrically as agonists to help bend the knee and help balance out the left leg. Here we have the movement phase on the left side. The agonist muscles working concentrically here are the plantar flexors, knee extensors, hip flexors, lumbar rotators, protractors, elevators of the scapula, GH horizontal adductors and flexors, elbow extensors, and pronators. The fingers and thumbs still remain in isometric contraction to keep that fist. Antagonist muscles are working eccentrically include the extensors, respectively, the scapular retractors, depressors, also the GH abductors, and supinators. The change on this side are the concentric contractions of the right knee extensors and the right ankle plantar flexors, which are both agonists. Next, we have the follow-through phase broken down on the left side. The agonist muscles working concentrically here are the plantar flexors, knee extensors, lumbar rotator, scap protractors and elevators, GH horizontal adductors and flexors, elbow extensors and supinators. The antagonist muscles that are working eccentrically oppose these agonist muscles. The change in muscles here is increase in plantar flexion to remain on the balls of your toes as momentum is pulling you forward. In conclusion, the left side of your body is doing most of the movement as the right tries to adapt to the changes of momentum pulling you forward. This production is brought to you by Alice, Justin, and Chris. Chris was a group member that was being recorded in the videos.